In this video, I'm going to right my wrongs and I'm going to show you how to work with unique IDs in Power Apps. My name is Colin Kelly Cook. I'm an Office 365 and Power Platform developer. This is my channel where I share with you all my knowledge on everything Power Apps, SharePoint and Office 365. Please subscribe, set up an alert so you know when my latest video is out. And if you have any questions, drop them in the comments. So I did a video many months ago, probably one of my first ever videos, where I talked about how to generate a unique ID in Power Apps. Now, maybe I named that video wrong. Apologies, I hold my hand up. But some pointed out that yes, the reference or the unique ID I was creating wasn't necessarily unique. What I was actually trying to do was just create a string of characters representing a document from some other set of information. So I wanted to come back and give you this video to show you how I deal with unique IDs and also other ways to look at unique IDs which are going to be actually unique, and one to an extent could be the same, but the likelihood is so slim that you can perform some checks if you wanted to, but it's a very efficient way to do it. So the first way and the simplest way is if you're using SharePoint List as a data source, or even if you're using Dataverse, they already have a unique ID contained within them. So for example, here I have my dev string list. Now this has a primary unique key. So if I add a string, test string, and save it, it gives it an ID. Now it never reuses the ID, so I've actually already used this twice and I've added 2 strings in. It's given me an ID of 3. That will never be reused and it will never be duplicated. So if I add a new one, string 4, the ID will be 4. So generally, when I need to work with something unique, where I'm working with, say, a list of users in one table and I need to represent those and match them up against things in another table, I will use that ID as the relationship. So I may be looking up in this table ID 3 and I know I'm getting that specific user. That's generally the route that I use. If you're using Dataverse, Dataverse has within it its own unique ID in the form of a GUID. So for every item that it creates a column by the name of the table that will give you back a GUID. So exactly the same, just slightly different. Now, if you're not using SharePoint lists and you're not using Dataverse, then there is another way to do this, which is powerful and will likely fulfill what you need. If we create a label here, for example, there is a function in Power Apps called GUID. Now what this will do is it will actually generate a GUID. Now I don't know exactly the maths, but if you look it up, I'm pretty sure it's fairly impossible for that to ever generate the same GUID twice, unless you do it hundreds and hundreds of million times within the same split second. Because of the way it works and because of the way it develops, it builds that GUID, it's pretty much never going to be the same. So what you can do is, in your onStart, you can generate a GUID, unique ID, generate a GUID, and then in here I can have my unique ID. So now if we run our onStart, here's my GUID. If we run my onStart again, you'll see every time that function runs, it creates a brand new GUID. So every time it loads, I'm creating a new GUID. So you could use that with a button, you could use that with anything. If you really wanted to, because that function always creates a new GUID, you could create the GUID, run a flow or a function, check if that GUID exists. So do a lookup on the table, and if that GUID exists, generate another GUID. Chances are it's never going to happen, but that is one way. So just to recap, if I'm working with SharePoint lists, I use the built-in ID column. It's always there. It goes up one at a time concurrently, and it never reuses previous IDs. So if I delete test string there, 3 is gone, but add in a new string, you'll see it always goes to 5. So it'll never go back to 3 again. So we can know for sure that we're never going to have conflicts there. In Dataverse, as I say, there is a column that is named the same as the table that will generate a GUID, and that will always confirm that that's unique, because that's its unique primary identifier. And that you can guarantee will be unique. So hopefully that helps everybody, and you can go away and build some amazing apps with that.